For this Python project, we're going to be creating a number guessing game. And the first thing that's going to happen is that it's going to print to the console to guess the number in the range from whatever we specify, which in this example is going to be 1 to 10. Next, we can start playing the game. We can say 10, the number is going to be lower. We can say 6, it's even lower than that, so let's try 3. And I'm guessing it's going to be 4 by that point. And it's also going to handle errors, like what if the user types in hello? The program is going to be able to say, hey, you are not playing the game correctly. Please enter a valid number. So it's another really good project for getting started with Python. And we can get started with this immediately. So create a new Python file. And we're going to start by importing a random number function. So from random imports random integer. Then we can start with the basic setup. So first we want to specify a lower number and a higher number, and that's going to equal 1 and 10. And if you want the game to be more complex, of course, you can add higher numbers. I think 1 to 10 is sufficient because guessing is a difficult sport. But next we can get a random number, or we can actually create this, which is going to be of type integer. And we're going to call random integer. And we're going to insert the lower bound, which is the lower number, and the higher number. So it's going to generate a number between 1 and 10, 10 inclusive. Next, we want to print to the user the numbers that they have to guess. So guess the number in the range from lower number to higher number. And that will take care of the setup. We can now create a infinite loop by typing in while true. And while true, we're going to try to get some user input. And this is used to make sure that we can handle any errors that occur while we're trying to get the user input. Because in programming, one of the most dangerous fields, or one of the most complex fields, is handling user input. Users will put whatever they want. It's just how it works. There's no getting around that. Even with the best instructions in the world, you'll still find users trying to do something silly. So we need to be able to handle that, and we're going to do that by creating a try and except block. So try to get the user guess, which is going to be of type integer, and we're going to get an input, which is going to say guess with a colon. And you're going to get this syntax highlighting because we are getting a string back, and that's what input gives us back. So we need to insert integer here with parentheses to pass that to an integer. And that's why we're putting it in a try and except block, because if you put some words in here and you try to turn it into an integer, it's going to raise an exception. So now that we have that, we can accept the value error, because that's the only error we can get in this case, as E. And value error just means that we're trying to put text in where we should be trying to put a number in. And here we'll type in, please enter a valid number. And we need to type in continue. And continue just says that once we run into this, we should not execute any code under. It should continue with the while loop. So this line will take us straight to the while true. Now we can actually create the logic that checks for the numbers. So here we can type in if user guess is more than the random number that we generated, then we're going to print that the number is lower, so the user can guess a lower number. If, or elif, the user guess is less than the random number, we're going to print that the number is higher. Else, we're going to print that the user guessed the number. You guessed it. And we're going to break out of this loop because we don't want to continue guessing once we guess the number. We want to tell the program that, okay, we did what we had to do. Now break out of this while loop so we can finish the program, so that we can make it to line 22 or 21. And since there's nothing there, it's going to finish running the script. So that was all the code you needed to make this work. Now, if we run the program, it's going to ask us to guess the number in the range from 1 to 10. We can start with something such as hello, and it's going to ask us to please enter a valid number. So we'll try 7 this time. The number is higher. We can put 8, higher, 9, and we've guessed it. The number was 9. So it's a very simple game, but there's a lot you can do with it. As a homework project, try to add a limit to the amount of guesses a user can use. So maybe the user can only use 3 guesses to get the number, or else game over. That is the homework project. I definitely recommend you do these kind of homework projects because they will help you master the language faster.